Something is happening, and you can feel it deep within your chest, like a quiet thunder rolling beneath your ribs. It's not anxiety, it's not imagination. It's a divine frequency resonating with your spirit, a transmission from beyond the veil. It's the vibration of eternity knocking at the door of your soul. It feels like your heartbeat doesn't just beat for your own life anymore, but for something greater, something ancient, something holy. This is not just a moment of awareness, it's a sacred summoning. You've been stirred awake at strange hours, not by noise, but by presence. You've found yourself covered in goosebumps when the air was still. You've heard sentences that no one spoke, felt warmth in rooms that were cold, and noticed signs that seemed too exact to be accidental. Others walk past these signs without blinking, but not you, because you've been tuned differently. These are not coincidences. These are divine alignments. They are whispers of the eternal, reaching into your reality, reminding you that the invisible is more real than the visible. You are not just sensing change, you are being invited into it. The air around you has shifted because the heavens have spoken. This isn't a general announcement. This is a personal call. Heaven is not merely observing you, it's moving on your behalf. It has been tracking every second of your timeline, waiting for this moment. You are not late, you are not early. You are perfectly positioned in the corridor of divine timing, where every second counts and every heartbeat echoes in eternity. Heaven has issued its final call, and it's calling you by name. This message isn't for the crowd, it's not for the many, it's for the marked. It's for the few who feel the weight of this shift without needing proof. You've been sensing it in your bones, long before any confirmation arrived. You've lived with this spiritual tension, the ache that something sacred was coming. And now, this is your confirmation. This is not just another season. This is a crossing, a divine threshold, a supernatural financial shift, monumental enough to reconstruct your identity, your relationships, your environment, and your purpose. What's been dammed up in the spiritual realm is about to burst forth into your reality, and nothing will ever be the same again. Those who dismissed you, they will witness this transformation. Those who forgot you, they will remember your name. And those nights you questioned if you mattered, those hours of silent tears and unanswered prayers, they are now turning into the fuel of your rise. This isn't a reward for what you begged for. This is the manifestation of what was written into your destiny before you even entered this world. Before your lungs knew breath, heaven had already assigned this hour to your life. And now it begins. You thought the loneliness was punishment, didn't you? You sat in silence, questioning your worth, replaying old wounds like broken records. You mistook the quiet for abandonment, the emptiness for rejection. But what if the silence wasn't a void? It was a sanctuary. What if the solitude wasn't exile? It was elevation. You see, the world judges your absence as weakness, but heaven calls it preparation. While others danced in crowds and chased validation, you were hidden, tucked away in the quiet chambers of heaven's workshop. Not discarded, not dismissed, but delicately, intentionally, divinely shaped. In that quiet place, heaven wasn't ignoring you, it was constructing you. Every unanswered prayer was a blueprint, every tear was a tool, every moment of isolation was an anointing in disguise. You were being taught how to soar in storms, how to stand in silence, how to hear God when no one else was speaking. The silence you feared became your training ground, because the weight of what you're called to carry can't be built in shallow places. It requires depth, it requires stillness, it requires stretching in the unseen. They said you were inactive, but they didn't see the chiseling. They didn't see the divine scalpel carving strength into your spine, vision into your eyes, and fire into your voice. You weren't benched. You were being trusted, with pain, with process, with power. Your wings were not grown in public. They were forged in the furnace of isolation. Because what's coming is not light. It's holy. It's heavy. And only the hidden ones can carry it. And now, the time of hiding is over. The cocoon has cracked. The shell has broken. You are emerging, not as who you once were, but as who you've always been beneath the noise. This new version of you was never created. It was revealed. The doors that once slammed in your face now bow to your presence. The places that once couldn't hold you now stretch to make room for your calling. This is why things never made sense, why people left without warning, why opportunities slipped through your fingers, because heaven needed you to be still enough to hear only one voice, His. Because this blessing you're walking into requires clarity, confidence, and authority, not dependency. The people who left weren't your foundation. They were scaffolding, temporary, necessary, but never meant to stay. And the places you left behind, they were too narrow for the magnitude of your assignment. You weren't buried. You were planted, hidden beneath the soil, yes, but never forgotten. And now, after seasons of stillness, the soil has done its work. Your roots are deep. Your identity is sealed. Your faith is fortified. You are not who you used to be. And that's precisely why your future can finally find you. This is not a return to normal. This is a birth into purpose. The waiting wasn't wasted. It was woven with meaning. And now, because you endured what would have broken others, you're ready to carry what others cannot. This blessing won't crush you. It will crown you. Do you remember the moments that shattered you? Not just the hard days, but the soul-crushing ones. The nights you sat alone, feeling like your prayers bounced off the ceiling, wondering if heaven had gone silent. The moments where dreams slipped through your hands like sand, and people you trusted walked away without warning. You stared at closed doors and unanswered emails and thought, is something wrong with me? You blamed yourself for losses that were never meant to stay. You questioned your value based on who didn't choose you. But let this truth settle deep into your soul. You were never rejected. You were rerouted. God wasn't punishing you. He was protecting you. Every no was a shield. Every silence was strategy. Every closed door was a wall built to guard your purpose from premature destruction. Because if you had walked through some of those doors, they would have led you into rooms too small for the magnitude of your calling. You would have settled for comfort instead of stepping into your commission. God knew. He knew that if certain people stayed, they would have poisoned the promise He planted in you. He saw the hidden motives behind smiles, the sabotage masked as support. So He let it fall apart, not to destroy you, but to deliver you, to pull you out of alignment with what was draining your destiny and into alignment with what would sustain your soul. The heartbreak? It wasn't a curse, it was a map, a divine rerouting that led you away from what looked good and toward what was good. The people who left were never equipped to carry the crown that was handcrafted for you. Their absence was not a loss, it was a requirement, because the elevation God is preparing for you cannot be shared with anyone who can't see your worth. And now, look at you, stronger, sharper, clearer. You've been refined by fire. You no longer chase what's not yours. You no longer beg to belong, because God didn't let you settle for second best. He rerouted you to greatness. And when the millions arrive, and they will, you'll look back on every painful exit with peace in your chest and fire in your eyes. You'll understand that the blessing wasn't delayed. It was developing. And here you are, not lacking, not forgotten, but finally aligned. Not 1 second too early, not 1 moment too late. You've arrived at the sacred intersection of readiness and release, and everything that was lost wasn't wasted. It was woven into the foundation of your becoming. It wasn't rejection, it was redirection. And now the right doors are about to open without you even knocking. This is your holy reroute, and the destination is more glorious than you ever dared to imagine. You've always felt it, haven't you? That quiet, unshakable awareness that you were different. It wasn't something you could explain, and it certainly wasn't something you could turn off. Even as a child, while others were playing without a care, you felt the weight of the world in your spirit. You looked at the stars and felt like they were speaking to you. You walked into rooms and instantly sensed what no one was saying. You saw behind smiles. You heard beneath words. You felt the ache of others, even when they pretended they were fine. You were never built for shallow waters. You didn't laugh when others laughed. You didn't find joy in the noise that distracted the world. While your peers chased trends, you searched for truth. While others reached for the spotlight, your soul longed for substance. And no matter how hard you tried, blending in never worked. It exhausted you, because your spirit was never designed to fit into systems made for the masses. You were not created to copy. You were crafted to carry vision, to carry light, to carry divine weight. There were times you thought something was wrong with you, times you wept over your own reflection, asking God why you couldn't be normal. But nothing was wrong with you. Everything was right. Heaven marked you. Before the foundations of the world, eternity carved its fingerprint into your soul. You were destined for depth, wired for wonder, called for the kind of greatness that can't be measured in applause. And because of that mark, the attacks came early, the confusion came young, the loneliness came often. The enemy tried to break you before you discovered your voice. He tried to bury you before you realized you were a seed. He tried to silence you before you knew you were a sound, but it didn't work. You're still here. That flame inside you, it never died. It flickered, it dimmed, but it never went out. And now you're beginning to understand. The reason certain environments felt suffocating was because they were too small for your soul. The reason you couldn't stay in places others thrived was because your calling required deeper roots. The reason you cried while others laughed was because you saw what they didn't. You felt what they ignored. And now that difference you tried to hide is becoming your distinction. The very thing you were ashamed of is the reason heaven is about to elevate you. You were never meant to be ordinary. You were meant to carry a frequency the world rarely hears. Your very presence disrupts darkness. Your voice shakes atmospheres. Your obedience shifts generations. That's why the battles were fierce. That's why the waiting was long. Because heaven doesn't rush masterpieces, it refines them in fire. Now your calling is becoming louder. You feel the pull, the divine summoning. the holy gravity tugging you forward. You are being drawn out of hiding. You are being positioned, because chosen ones do not stay in the shadows forever. They rise, they shine, they carry what others can't, and everything you've endured, every tear, every loss, every setback, was not in vain. It was training, it was testing, it was transformation. You are not just called, you are chosen, and now the world is about to see what heaven already knew. That your difference was never a mistake, it was a mandate. Have you noticed how still it's been lately? Not just around you, but within you, the kind of quiet that stretches wide and deep, like standing in a vast field beneath a starless sky. No voices, no signs, no answers, just silence, heavy, holy silence. At first, it unnerved you. You questioned everything. Did I take a wrong step? Did I miss the signal? Has God left me? You scrolled for meaning, fasted for clarity, prayed for direction. But all you got was more silence. But let this truth flood your soul. Silence is not abandonment. It is intimacy in its rawest form. It is the breath held before the breakthrough. It is the hush of heaven when the divine hands are working behind the curtain. When the artist paints a masterpiece, there is silence in the studio. When the orchestra tunes its instruments before a symphony, there is silence on stage. And when heaven rearranges the fabric of your destiny, there is silence in your soul. You are not forgotten. You are being formed. This silence isn't void. It's volume on a different frequency, a sacred pause before the next divine sentence, a stillness not of emptiness, but of intensity. God is not far. He is closer than breath. But what He's doing now requires the kind of concentration that demands your stillness. It requires an atmosphere quiet enough for whispers to be heard, for blueprints to be etched, for identity to be sealed. You've been conditioned to crave noise, to associate movement with progress, but some of the greatest shifts in your life will begin in stillness, because it's in the silence that God anchors your spirit. It's in the silence that He removes distractions and reveals directions. It's in the silence that trust is refined, not because you see the way, but because you believe there is one. So don't misinterpret the silence. Don't let your heart panic. What feels like delay is divine development. What feels like pause is precise positioning. What feels like nothing is actually the preparation for everything. Right now, behind the veil, God is aligning relationships that will change your life. He's opening doors that haven't even been constructed yet. He's whispering your name into conversations you haven't even dreamed of entering. And all of it is unfolding while the world looks the same on the surface. But you, chosen one, you know better. You feel the pressure in the unseen, the swelling in the spirit, the imminent shift that no one else can name but you can't ignore, because you've been marked for more. The silence won't last forever, but it's doing its work. It's stripping away the noise that numbed you. It's deepening your discernment. It's sharpening your hearing so that when God speaks again, you won't miss it. You'll move not by sight, but by trust, not by sound, but by certainty. And when the silence finally breaks, it won't be subtle. It will be sovereign. It will thunder through your life with glory. So stay faithful, stand still. Don't fill the silence with doubt. Fill it with worship, because what's emerging from this stillness is a destiny too weighty to be announced with noise. It will be revealed in divine silence and then delivered with undeniable power. You've spent years praying for just enough strength to make it through another day, just enough peace to fall asleep without worry. just enough money to cover the bills and keep the lights on. You asked for what seemed reasonable survival-level blessings. You thought that if God could just help you maintain, that would be more than enough. But what if God never intended to stop at enough? What if His plan all along wasn't just to sustain you, but to overflow through you? Because this blessing that's coming, it's not survival, it's strategy. It's not just income, it's impact. It's not just about paying your bills, it's about paying off someone else's. It's about flipping the tables of lack and turning them into legacies. This is not a moment of temporary relief. It is a movement, an eruption of provision so undeniable, so supernatural, that you'll know it wasn't the work of your hands, but the trust of His heart. This financial shift isn't random, it's redemptive. What's coming is not just for you, it's for your children, for your children's children, for the dreams you buried when life got too heavy, for the visions that once felt too expensive to even write down. It's not just a deposit, it's a divine assignment, a sacred trust. Heaven is about to put resources into your hands because heaven trusts your heart. You've been faithful with little. You gave when it didn't make sense. You sowed seeds in dry ground. You tithed with tears in your eyes. You praised with an empty wallet. And now heaven is responding with overflow. But this isn't about luxury. It's about legacy. This isn't just money. It's momentum. This blessing will break chains, generational ones. It will restore what was stolen. It will rebuild what was broken. It will shift your bloodline and realign your identity. You are the turning point, the pivot, the answer to prayers whispered by your ancestors in the dark. And this abundance, it comes with clarity, with boldness, with kingdom authority. Doors will open without you even knocking. Emails will arrive carrying favor. Conversations will take place in rooms you've never entered, but your name will be there anyway. Because when God decides to endorse a person, there is no human signature that can deny the contract. What's coming is not by chance. It's been sealed in the heavenlies and now released on earth. And you will know it's from God, not just because of the size of the blessing, but because of the size of the assignment that follows. This wealth isn't for hoarding, it's for harvesting. It's not for indulgence, it's for impact. You're about to become a vessel through which heaven funds healing, through which restoration becomes reality, through which others will rise simply because you were obedient. This isn't a payday, this is a pivot day. And from this moment on, your life won't be a reservoir. It will be a river, a flowing stream of blessing, birthing hope, building futures, and reminding the world that when God blesses a person, it's never just for them, it's for everyone connected to them. That's the blessing you're stepping into now, one that will overflow, one that will echo, one that will eternally speak of the faithfulness of the one who always planned to give you more than enough, not just to help you survive, but to empower you to transform the world around you. All your life, you've watched from the sidelines, clapping for others while your hands ached from the effort, smiling through tears as others received what you begged heaven for. You've celebrated weddings while navigating heartbreak, watched promotions while questioning your purpose, seen doors open for people who took shortcuts while you walked the hard road step by painful step. And deep in the corners of your soul, you whispered the question you were too afraid to say aloud. Why not me? You didn't want to be jealous. You just wanted justice. You weren't bitter. You were broken. because you knew how deeply you prayed, how hard you worked, how often you showed up when no one noticed. And still, it felt like you were always behind, always last, always invisible. But heaven never forgot, and being last was never a punishment, it was positioning. You were not overlooked, you were reserved, deliberately set apart. God didn't delay your rise to break you, He delayed it to build you. Because what you're about to carry needs more than talent. It needs tenacity. It needs spiritual infrastructure. It needs depth that can only be dug in seasons where no one's watching. You didn't miss your moment. You became your moment. And now the divine order is shifting. The last is becoming first. The overlooked is becoming honored. The quiet one is becoming the voice. The one who stood in shadows is about to shine with a light that can't be ignored. This isn't favoritism, it's fulfillment. This is recompense for every sacrifice, every seed sown in secret, every night you cried but didn't quit. God is not just blessing you, He's vindicating you. And when you rise, and you will rise, it will confuse people. They'll ask, when did this happen? But you'll know it wasn't overnight. It was over years of faithfulness, years of unseen obedience, years of walking in integrity when compromise would have been easier. You took the slow road, the hard road, the road that didn't always make sense, but it led to destiny. And now, the reward won't just be success, it will be substance, not just victory, but glory. You'll carry a weight that others cannot fake. You'll move with authority because you were forged in the fire. You'll lead with humility because you remember what it felt like to be forgotten. You'll pour into others not from theory, but from testimony. This blessing will hit different because you're different now. You didn't just wait, you worshipped while waiting. You didn't just endure, you evolved. And now everything God has stored up for this moment is about to collide with your obedience. Not because you chased it, but because you became it. This is the unveiling, the releasing, the reversal of everything that made you feel small. You were last on purpose, so that your glory would be unmistakably God's. What's about to enter your life isn't ordinary. This is not a casual raise. It's not a stroke of luck or a random increase. This is provision wrapped in purpose, prosperity laced with divine strategy. This is heaven releasing resources with intention, placing spiritual tools into physical form. This is not just another paycheck. This is prophetic. Because chosen ones are not blessed to sit in comfort, they are anointed to commission. You are about to become the answer to prayers you didn't even know were being prayed. You are about to fund healing where others only offered sympathy. You are about to build what others said was impossible, not because of who you are, but because of whose you are. God has watched you. He saw the late nights when you gave out of your lack. He saw you plant hope when all you had was pain. He saw you write vision while the bank account screamed reality. And now, because you were faithful when it hurt, heaven is responding. This financial blessing is not about ego, it's about eternity. You've been chosen not to just live better, but to lead better, to inspire, to restore, to rebuild. God didn't just bless you so you could survive. He's blessing you so you can revive others. Because this money comes with a mission. It's coming with blueprints, with divine strategies, with a holy urgency that won't let you stay idle. Ideas will flood your mind like rivers. Vision will wake you at night. Solutions will appear in dreams. Connections will show up that don't make sense until you realize they're heaven sent. And this wealth won't feel like excess, it'll feel like responsibility, but not the kind that burdens you, the kind that builds you. Because you'll finally have the capacity to do what your heart has always wanted to do. Bless without hesitation. You'll write checks and break chains. You'll sponsor futures and shatter ceilings. You'll lift others the way you once prayed to be lifted. This is wealth with weight, and you're finally ready to carry it. The blessing won't be scattered. It will be specific. It won't be shallow. It will be strategic. And it won't just change your life. It will reroute your lineage. You're about to step into a role as a kingdom financier, a purpose distributor, a builder of restoration, because God needs hands on earth that won't hoard heaven's generosity. You are that hand. You are that vessel. And as it flows to you, it will flow through you. You will be the bridge between someone's breakdown and their breakthrough. You will be the answered prayer, the miracle in motion. And it won't be because you begged. It'll be because you believed. Because when God blesses the right person, the world doesn't just witness wealth, they witness wonders. This is not money, this is mantle. And it's being placed in your hands because you've shown heaven you can be trusted. There's a realm beyond what you can touch, beyond logic, beyond sight. A sacred dimension where eternity writes the story before time ever turns a page. And right now, in that unseen realm, contracts are being finalized, assignments are being activated, blessings are being released. What's been held back isn't being denied, it's being aligned. Because the season you've entered isn't ordinary, it's prophetic. You are no longer walking in circles, you are walking into fulfillment. For so long you pushed, you prayed, you labored in silence, wondering if heaven was hearing any of it. Your efforts felt fruitless. You knocked on doors that never opened. You spoke to people who never responded. And in the silence, you began to wonder, is anything moving? Is anything changing? But hear this, heaven never forgets what it writes. It never loses track of what it prepares. The invisible was never empty. It was active. While your hands felt idle, the hands of angels were busy. While you cried over delays, heaven was sealing divine approvals. While you waited in stillness, your spirit was being promoted. Quietly, powerfully, irrevocably. You've outgrown the old version of yourself, the insecure version, the one that second-guessed every decision, the one that settled for crumbs because they were afraid the feast might never come. That version has expired. Now you're not begging, you're believing, you're not striving, you're surrendered. You've matured in the secret place. You've been tested in faith, and now you're ready for release. And that release is coming fast. Right now, angels are being dispatched to deliver what hell tried to hold. There are divine signatures on breakthroughs with your name engraved in gold. Spiritual contracts are being activated, assignments that were paused until your heart could carry them. Partnerships are aligning, projects are birthing, delays are being lifted, approvals are being stamped in the heavenly court. The gates that once denied you are now swinging open, not because of who you know, but because of who sent you. You're not walking into favor from man. You're stepping into fulfillment from God. And those around you, they'll be drawn to you, not understanding why. People will open doors, offer resources, speak blessings, and they won't even know why they're doing it. But you will know. You'll feel it in your bones. This is what I was waiting for. This is what I was praying for. This is what my pain was preparing me for. Because what's arriving isn't accidental, it's been divinely timed. And now, everything is converging. The people, the plans, the provision, the timing. All of it is syncing like stars aligning for a once-in-a-lifetime celestial event. You've crossed over into divine readiness, and what once felt pending is now processing. What once felt delayed is now delivering. What was always yours is being handed to you, not in chaos, but in clarity. Heaven has signed. Earth is responding. The wait is over. This is your moment of manifestation. Yes, millions are coming, but don't you dare limit the meaning of that promise. Don't shrink it down to digits in a bank account or commas in a paycheck. Because this is not just about currency. It's about calling. It's not about what you'll spend. It's about what you'll spark. The millions are only the beginning. They are heaven's announcement that alignment has turned into assignment, that your private pain has birthed public power, that your spiritual posture has drawn down supernatural provision. But the miracle isn't the money. You are. Because the true wealth isn't the gold. It's the glory behind it. It's the movement you were born to lead. It's the nations your voice is destined to touch. It's the healing your obedience will release. It's the schools that will rise because you said yes. The children who will eat because you chose not to hoard. The dreams that will be reborn because you refused to quit. You are no longer being blessed for yourself. You're being blessed through yourself. What's coming isn't small, it's kingdom-sized. What's about to pour into your life will not only elevate you, it will awaken you. You will see the world differently, hear pain more clearly, sense injustice more urgently, because wealth without purpose is dangerous, but wealth with purpose, that's revival. That's reformation. That's God rewriting history through your hands. You're not stepping into luxury. You're stepping into legacy. Soon, you'll sit at tables where policies are shaped. You'll walk into rooms that govern economies. You'll partner with people you used to admire from a distance, because now your purpose has brought you near. You'll feel the divine weight of your influence. And you'll wield it with wisdom, not ego. Because you remember the nights of not enough. You remember the empty cupboards and the empty inbox. You remember what it felt like to pray for gas money, and you'll never forget it. That memory will become your ministry, and when people ask you, how did you get here? You won't point to luck or hard work alone. You'll point to the process, to the pain that taught you, to the silence that strengthened you, to the God who sustained you. And you'll realize you didn't just survive to tell a story. You were shaped to release one. This isn't a season of hoping. This is the season of harvesting. And the field, it's ripe. The heavens, they're open. The promises, they're unlocked. What's coming into your hands is not just provision, it's a holy permission. Permission to build, permission to bless, permission to rewrite your family's name in the history of faithfulness. And what you're about to walk in, no man, no system, no devil can take away. Because it was written by heaven, and heaven never forgets its own. The millions are coming. The mission is unfolding, the miracles are multiplying, and the world is about to witness what happens when God finds a heart he can trust. This is not the end. It is the awakening of everything you were born to become.